everybody. We are back today with Brandy of Brandy Burrow Astrology to talk about the astrology surrounding the death of Heather O'Rourke. She was the little girl from the Poltergeist films. There, we wanted to look at this not only because it's like Halloween time or it's what is today? What the fuck is today's date? October 18th?
October 18th. Almost
October
Halloween
18th.
time.
Almost Halloween. And since Poltergeist is a movie that is watched during Halloween or all year, this seemed like an appropriate time to look at the astrology surrounding her death, because her death is weird. Essentially, she died on February 1st of 1988. She had been sick that weekend, but more like flu-like sick, nothing major. That Monday, she collapses, I believe, before trying to go to school, goes into cardiac arrest. They revive her. This was at 9:25 a.m., I believe, or around then. And then by 2:43 p.m., she dies of intestinal stenosis. And this is something that, and it's weird because this is something that's generally, or from what I understand, is generally diagnosed in childhood. This, from what I can understand anyway, seemed to have come on quickly, which is, or there's just a lot of weird shit surrounding this.
It doesn't, from what I understood, it's not like a sudden onset. It's,
yeah.
And
exactly.
With her, it seemed to be sudden. Yeah.
Yes. There was, now, I believe it was the year before, there was a stomach issue that she had from drinking well water, or that's where they think it came from. And then she was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. But they didn't see this, I guess, in whatever labs or whatever they ran at that time. Not that I can see anyway. So that also, it does seem like something that would have been, or I mean, I'm not a fucking doctor, but it seems like something that would have been noticed at that time. So it is weird. And there also, there are different theories about her death, from, the poltergeist curse, for people that were in the films, past herself, her included, to other conspiracy-like theories about her being some kind of sacrifice to whoever. I don't know, but I have seen that as well. So we wanted to look at this and see kind of what the astrology supports.
Poltergeist, like my favorite childhood movie. Had no filters on what we would watch, but that was one of my favorites. I think I was 3 when it came out. And I mean, from the time I can remember, that was one we watched all the time.
You were a weird kid like me. Mine was The Exorcist.
Yeah. What can I say? We have morbid curiosity.
Yeah. Should we pull the chart for when she went into cardiac arrest?
Yes, let's see it.
Okay, let me hopefully share the right chart and not like the wrong chart. Was it this one? Was it this one? Hold on, let me see. No, damn it. Hold on.
Damn it, Ellie.
God damn it. Okay. Okay. So this is when she goes into cardiac arrest at 9:25 a.m. on February 1st.
Pluto screams here because it's just now.
Yes.
Leaving the 8th house, but with horary rules, might as well be in the 8th house because it's within 3 degrees of the cusp. So basically right there. A strong Pluto in Scorpio. And it's interesting, like this house structure, it's an Aries rising chart. So we got the traditional house lineups for the most part. We have some interceptions with Pisces and Virgo, but 8th house in its home sign of Scorpio.
Yes. Yeah. And since she was a minor, right? Like or considered a, well, I guess a, like a, what, a tween, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever.
She was 12.
Yeah. You would look at the fifth house for, and the moon happens to be there
In
at
the
the,
energetic degree.
yep. Yep. Which, yeah, that definitely, definitely stood out to me.
Yeah. Um, and I know we look at fifth house for children. If we're wanting to bring in the first house as well, sometimes I kind of look at both.
Mhm.
That Jupiter right there in the first house of the body.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. You know, Jupiter is usually a beneficial planet, you know, that brings good fortune. It is in Aries, you
Yeah.
know, but which is kind of an intense sign, but that throws me a little bit on this chart.
Yeah. I can't remember. I know we have her. I wonder if Jupiter was doing, because I don't know. I have like in my own life, and I know it's like a whole different situation, but like I can think of times that Jupiter has been a real fucking asshole.
It can if it's, I'm gonna look see if we have a birth chart because I know
Oh,
if Jupiter lines up with like a part of fortune, sometimes it can create issues.
yeah, yeah. You know what else is interesting about this chart with like talking about the like body and bringing health in, right? This was a, you know, like a health crisis essentially. That Virgo is intercepted in the sixth, which does kind of feel like, you know, and the south node being there, right? And even the part of fortune being there, but there's something about the interception that does kind of make me think, I don't know, it could have been how it was missed. I don't really know, but it does kind of make me wonder if it, you know, I don't know.
With that interception, it does look hidden, you know,
Yeah.
like there's a health matter hidden.
Yeah.
And possibly, you know, could catch, it could be caught, catch them by surprise. You know, just with that interception, you do have Uranus at a 29 degree as well towards the top of the chart.
Too.
You
And
know,
ooh, and conjunct the Uranus and Saturn conjunct the GC, weird shit. Ooh, and also something else I'm looking at now. Mercury is in the 12th, ruler of Virgo, in the 12th, even more like hidden away in Aquarius. Aquarius, shocking surprise kind of
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I think this doesn't seem like I don't know if that's been an accusation or not, but it doesn't seem like necessarily anything was missed. It's just like this is kind of a hidden thing going on that maybe didn't present symptoms until
It presented symptoms.
it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what this looks like to me as well. Just
Yeah.
from the um
And you got Neptune in the 10th as well, which is fogginess and not seeing things clearly too, you know, that are, you know, can also hide things away.
yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to remember because I looked at these a few days ago. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I wanted to mention about this chart. Is there
Yeah,
anything else that,
pretty this chart's pretty direct. You know what I
yeah,
mean? This it's like, hey, here's Pluto in the eighth. Like I said, the interceptions. Here's, you know, the ruler of an interception in the 12th. It's pretty much like, okay, yeah, things are hidden and things are intense. You know, you also got the moon at 29 degrees ruling Heather, and it's pretty direct.
yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah, even like, okay, like in these charts, you know, like the seventh house being like the perfect perpetrator or cause or catalyst or whatever. That motherfucker, Venus, is in the 12th too. It's also, you know, and it's in Pisces. Venus is in Pisces. So that make, I mean, I know it's exalted there, but it's still, there's that lack of clarity that, or even exaggeration, if you will.
Right. Exaggeration. Yeah. She's described as having flu-like symptoms. That could absolutely be like a Venus and Pisces, like, oh, it looks like this. It's not that bad. It's not serious. It's because, there's something about exalted signs just kind of being different than what it actually is, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to put on a different mask. Like, so I could see that being kind of the flu-like symptoms. And, if you have a child with flu-like symptoms, you're kind of just monitoring, waiting out, kind of seeing how they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we look at the at the time of death? Was that a weird noise that I just made? Sorry, was it? There's allergies.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, people. There's allergies and all kinds of shit. So if I go, that's what I'm doing.
I did it earlier. My voice like totally went out on one of the words I said.
So you know how it is. You're gonna make me keep laughing. Girl, you gotta stop.
Here, hit pause.
No. Everybody's gonna see us doing this shit in all of its glory.
Okay. I'm good. I'm really immature.
Jesus. Okay, now we got to put on serious faces because people are gonna bitch if we're laughing about this.
Okay, I am laughing at Ellie, everybody. I'm crying. I laugh so hard, but I'm laughing at Ellie. I'm not laughing.
We gonna get spanked.
I know. We're not laughing about Heather O'Rourke at all. Okay.
No, we're not. No, not at all.
Oh, I remember when she passed. It was horrible. It was sad, and I've been to her grave. She is in the same cemetery as Marilyn Monroe.
I feel like I can't remember if that's one that we went to or not when we went there. We may have. I was younger though, but I want to go. I want to go check it out and be like cognizant of what I'm doing.
We could go and do that, Ellie. Field trip.
Yeah. No, I love checking out cemeteries. I like the ones in New Orleans a lot too. They're like old and
I want to go see those. You got to take me there. I'll take you to California.
Well, this is the time of death. 2:43 p.m. To me, okay, like I can the theories that I've seen about her being some kind of a sacrifice or whatever. This to me seems very debunked here. I mean, look at all this shit in the sixth house. It feels very like of this world, very terrestrial.
Yeah, I don't even know where those theories come from. Like,
oh, I have no fucking idea. And again, I don't subscribe to any of those, but I did want to throw it out there because it is something that I have seen places and people talk. I don't know, but yeah. I don't see that here at all. There's
no. And one thing you can see going on here, and this is very horary astrology, but like the chart where something, the 9:25 a.m. chart where she suffers cardiac arrest, right?
Mm-hmm.
That moon is at 29 degrees Cancer. And so the question of, if you're looking right at that time, is she going to get better? That moon is leaving its home sign and going into a sign, not that Leo's bad for the moon, but it's leaving its very dominant sign. And so we know there's going to be a decline in her health from that point.
Yes. And even
now at 2 degrees Leo.
And even looking at, that moon at 2 degrees Leo, it is ruled by the sun in the 8th house, which, also, and it's, the sun is in fall here. No, detriment, fall detriment, in a detriment.
Yeah. And just really having the sun in the 8th house, not every time, but a lot of times when there's a health event, or we'll just say forensic, I want to be careful here, but when we're looking at forensic charts and you have like the sun burning in the 8th house, it's not a great testimony either.
Yeah.
Lighting up the 8th house of death.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And you got in the 5th house, which would be one of, you could also look at the ascendant, like you said, for her, but since she was a minor, Pluto in the 5th.
Yeah.
Feels very deathy here.
Yeah. It's interesting that 5th house ruler, if we're going to take the new ruler of this chart, it'd be Venus here again in Pisces, same sign. It's only a few hours later. Now it's right there with the North Node.
Mm-hmm.
Evolutionary astrology wise, that's interesting to me. I always want to be careful what I say about like North Node, especially when you're looking at like people passing. Not that she's 12, she's young, it's incredibly tragic. There's something about that ruler though, being right there with the North Node that gives a sense of completeness a little bit. I hate saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, oh, it was her time. That's not what I'm really saying, but it just feels like a lot was accomplished in that short 12 years.
No, I get what you're saying. I think you put it very tastefully and tactfully the way that you said it. Because yeah, and I get what you mean. And I think people watching this will understand what you're saying too. But yeah, I agree with that. And I also like to point, okay, so the 9th house, right, is like long distance travels. But I don't know. I mean, death is a journey. So there is something about it that feels fitting here as well.
And you still get beliefs in religion with this house too,
mm-hmm.
Spirituality, and I agree with that. I think so too.
Especially in Pisces with this in Pisces, you know what I mean? We've got yeah. What about the curse thing? Do you see any? And I want to be careful when I ask this because like I have had people come to me for natal chart readings who have said that they have been told that they are cursed. And I don't like no, I don't think that you can see like marker. I mean, you can have like generational inheritances that can kind of feel like a curse, but I don't think that you can actually see curses in a natal chart. But I do wonder if you see anything here that could indicate any kind of fucky supernatural kind of shit.
I'm with you. You can't really see it in a natal chart, just like you can't predict death in astrology. It's really hard. Now, hindsight, you can go back and look at someone's natal chart with an event like death and see what was going on, but it's not the same for everyone that dies. There's different things going on. But in this chart, not really. I mean, maybe if I really try to pull, you do got a lot of Sagittarius going on. I would think more like curse would be like the Scorpio or a Pluto thing. I got my rulership book. Let's see what it says.
Yeah, my rulership book is holding up my 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 fucking iPad right now, so I can't.
It's being put to use. I'll look. I'll see.
Because yeah, I'm with you. I would think of it maybe being more like a Scorpio thing.
It actually, and according to this, it'd be Uranus and Saturn, which you do have them teaming up in Sag.
Okay, and they're also okay, and they're conjunct the galactic center, so they're conjunct some weird shit. Huh.
I don't know. And it's going to depend on belief systems, right? I've had people mad at me in the spiritual community and try to do what they can to mess me up, and it hasn't worked. So I don't know if I believe in that being something that could happen. But there's a lot of weirdness with some of what's happened to people. But with the movie, I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if it's jumping out at me though on this.
No, yeah. Yeah. Probably
If
not.
you're going to look at the Uranus Saturn conjunction, it's in the sixth house, which generally doesn't, I mean, I don't know.
I think the sixth house is just very real world, very, very mundane, right? Now I'm
Very
wondering also,
practical.
I wonder if that Uranus Saturn conjunction can, Saturn can be like obstructions, right? And blockages. Uranus is weird shit, right? Among other things, right? Sudden things. So I wonder if that could actually point towards the sudden blockage.
It
And
just feels like a health crisis to me.
yeah,
It was. But I mean, as far as that's what jumps out, I don't see like, oh, there's some weird
yeah.
occult or curse or, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Mars is also, aggravating those two coming up on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got the malefics teaming up here. You know, it's a wide orb, but they're still visiting.
Yeah.
They're starting to get each other's space.
And they're in Sagittarius, which is going to do things big.
Yes. Well, and you know, that Mars and Jupiter, it's mutual reception there, you know, so there's something about Jupiter expanding that.
And
So,
maybe that's what the first, like in the first chart with Jupiter in the first, maybe it was pointing to that kind of a thing with the self.
yeah,
Should we look at her chart?
I would love to.
Okay. So I've got her chart with the transits. And let me try to pull the right motherfucker. Okay. All right. So this is her chart. She was born December 27, 1975, in San Diego at 12:28. Or that's what they had on astro.com. I believe it was AA rated, I believe. So it's probably pretty good. And then the outer wheel is are the transits for her time of death.
So there's a couple, you know, we talked about Jupiter. I almost like jumped ahead earlier, caught myself, but
Yes.
yeah, she's still
It's
within
fucking
orbit of the Jupiter return, and Jupiter is not only trining the part of fortune, but it's the ruler of the part of fortune.
yes. And that transit Jupiter is fucking that Chiron of hers almost exactly.
Yes. So yeah, it is interesting. This is where we see Jupiter.
Be an asshole.
Yeah. Expanding where we don't need expansion, you know, expanding a situation. That's an interesting example because, you know, and not everyone who has Jupiter on the part of fortune has a health event like this by any means. But like there are some like documented cases like this where Jupiter in that part of fortune being aspected, weird things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that part of fortune is also conjunct transit Mars. Transit Mars is Mars feels like an aggravator, like a poker here. Like it's
Yeah. And we got the moon on set. You know, that happens every month. The moon is a fast transit, but interesting on the day of, you know, all these other things going on. And then the moon, which also is kind of like an amplifier.
yes.
On Saturn with all these other things happening. You know, she's born during the night. And so according to Hellenistic rules, Saturn's going to be like the worst malefic in her chart. It's going to be the planet that causes more trouble or challenges. And so it's kind of crazy, everything lining up on this day for her.
It's also the ruler of her fourth house, cradle to grave kind of thing, lighting that up.
Now I do notice, I have this long handwritten list somewhere. Me and my morbid curiosity, I'm like, what's happening with chart rulers when people die? Because
Uh-huh.
even though it
Uh-huh.
said you can't time death looking at astrology, but I do like to say, hey, what's common? It is really common to see, like, she's a Libra rising, right?
Mm-hmm.
So her chart ruler is Venus. Venus transiting is in Pisces and in exaltation. You see, like, when death occurs, a lot of times these chart rulers, that planet that's transiting is either exalted or in detriment. There is some kind of like strong energy either way going on with the transiting chart ruler. So I always find that interesting. And she has that going on because Venus is in Pisces during this time.
I've noticed that too with the chart ruler, or somehow the chart ruler, either by way of transit or in the chart, is somehow
Yeah, it's either in the
lit up.
sign or it's like an 8th or a 12th house, or
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
something weird that happens that's common. Not every time. I mean, but a lot of times though. Like
Yeah.
I had a hard time finding cases where that wasn't going on. But Venus would make this transit every year. So it doesn't mean like,
Yeah.
don't try to time your death here, because it's still, you gotta have other calculations going on, I guess. I don't know what the recipe is, but yeah, it's just interesting.
It is. It is. Is there anything else you want to pull out of?
Let's try and figure out what's going on, because there's a lot of activity over that third house, not just with the transits to part of fortune. But I'm just kind of looking at the third house in general. Yeah, this is where we typically find communication, siblings. I wonder what else was going on in her life during this time. That's some heavy energy on that house.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
You also have that transiting Chiron. It's just now starting to leave Mars. She got Mars messing with the chart pretty good.
Yes. And that Chiron, I'm not sure exactly. It is retrograde at this time. So is Mars.
Mhm.
But it would be moving back even closer to that
Oh,
Mars,
you're right. Yeah, I see that.
which, even though it's a little wide, wider here, it's still, I don't know how far back it goes, but it would have gone. But are those transiting nodes? They're like squaring the part of fortune too, or part of fortune on her chart.
Yeah, I was just looking at those nodes too. Squaring a lot of that heavy activity going on there.
Chart her transiting chart ruler also, yeah, squaring, yeah, that's, it's a, yeah.
It's a lot for a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Though something tells me with that Pluto rising in her chart,
Mm-hmm.
she was not a stranger to, quote, a lot going on. I don't know. And I don't know what I'm not saying that her childhood was bad or anything like that. I'm not implying that at all. But I just, that's heavy.
That's intense.
Yeah, it is. So something tells me that she wasn't a stranger to just having a lot going. She wasn't a stranger to it.
No, and there's something just kind of natally about it too. She had to have made quite the impression on people, because that's kind of having kind of an intense impression on people as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It she's got that sun towards the bottom of the chart. You might think, oh, she might be a little introverted. I bet she didn't come off introverted with that Pluto.
Yeah, it's very possible that she didn't. That
I don't want to say like it's not that she came out like really outgoing, but it's like there's something like she's not hiding. Like that Pluto's going to capture attention for people.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Is
But
there
another thing about that Pluto though, just kind of thinking about this, you know, she was so little in the first Poltergeist movie. Like for a kid being around like skeletons and like filming like jump scares and like just the storyline. I think that Pluto there, like she could handle it.
Oh
Know?
yeah, hell yes, absolutely. I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's like it yeah, she's like us when we were little, we weren't scared of that stuff. We were like more intrigued by it. We're like interesting.
But she probably, she could handle it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to mention about this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, I will stop sharing then. Well, thank you so much for wanting to do this with me. And everybody will need to go watch. It's kind of like a part one, part two. We like to do the same kind of. We have like to have a theme. Last week was fucked up family shit. This week is poltergeist. So if you go after watching this, go to Brandy's channel and check out the forensic astrology of Dominique Dunn, of her death. She was also in Poltergeist, so figured we'd do the teaming up on this subject this week. But Brandy, share where you can be found.
You can find me at brandyburrowastrology.com and Brandy Burrow Astrology on YouTube and Instagram. And Ellie, where can we find you?
You can find me here on YouTube at Let's F with Astrology, a website, SaturnSeason.com, and Instagram at Saturn Season Astrology. All right. Well, I guess we will head out, but I'll see y'all later.